Good morning and welcome to MagHub Monday. I'm your host, Nick Patero, and this is the show where we talk about everything related to MagHub, media, and sales. This is going to be a part two of our Client Center series, part two of two. And today we are going to be bringing in a special guest to show you a little bit more about how to use MagHub from an end user's perspective. I'll introduce her in just a few moments. We're going to be looking at in this video how to invite your clients. We've created an email template that I'll be sharing with you so you can take advantage of it and put it in place within your team to make this really, really easy for your advertisers to sign up. We're going to talk about how to give the right amount of permissions so that your clients don't see more than what you want them to see or not enough. And then finally, we're going to be talking about how to get adoption. And we've created a short video tutorial for your advertisers so you can share this directly with them so they can learn how to log into the Client Center and how to use it based on what you want them to see. So let's go ahead, dive into the video. All right, everybody, welcome. I have a special guest with us today, Shalyn Ormsby. Shalyn, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Yes, of course. Thanks for being here. Specifically, we wanted to have you on because you have a little bit of experience in the realm of publishing. So would you mind telling everybody a little bit about your background so they get to know you a little bit better?
Sure. I previously worked for a publisher for 12 years, and we were a user of the MagHub product for about 4. So we have lots and lots of success stories using the product, and I look forward to sharing some of those with everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, we're happy to hear them. And might I add that we nabbed you? Not really, kind of. But now Shalyn's a part of our team, so some of you may begin seeing her name and setting up meetings with her and whatnot as she continues to get onboarded with the company. But today specifically, we're talking about client center adoption and how to get advertisers on board with the client center. That's ultimately going to save them and your sales team time. So Shalyn, you mind sharing a little bit about your experience related to the client center?
Sure. Admittedly, we did not use the Client Center when we first brought on MagHub. As everybody knows, it's like a really robust program, offers a lot of great things. So we decided to implement things in baby steps. But when we did decide to take on the Client Center, the first place we started was digital signatures with the sales team. It's a great time saver. Eliminates kind of a lot of the back and forth. And once they got on board and realized like how great it was, they just were knocking them out left and right. So that was a really good first step for us. Then we slowly rolled in our production department, getting them on board too. This is going to be a great product for you. Getting the ad collection and things like that, giving more of the power into the hands of the client. That was a little more of a struggle, I think, for us. But once we were like, you need to get on board with this, everyone was really happy that we ended up doing it. And then clients paying invoices came after that. So baby steps to get it going. But at the end, everyone was really happy that we'd started using it.
Mm-hmm. A kind of an interesting question for you. Who was the group of people that resisted getting into the client center the most?
Oh, probably production, I would say. They did have a good system of ad collection before, but this really helped streamline things, especially when the company started to grow and we had purchased multiple publications. We were not only bringing on additional sales teams, we had additional production people, but it was all getting them on the same system. It made things a lot more efficient. The workflow went a lot easier. But it did kind of like, come on, you can do this, and kind of forcing their hands at some point. But it really does end up working out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know, even internally at MagHub, right? We have really good intentions to start new initiatives and begin using them and trying new things. But if there's not that kind of recurring meeting or check-in or encouragement, a lot of times those things kind of fall by the wayside. So
right.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall back into your old ways when something feels really frustrating at first because that's what you're used to. But if you can really drill down and continue to keep pushing your sales team, your production team, and give them that positive encouragement and remind them why this is such a benefit. The time saving alone is just huge. If you can just keep reminding them of that, and as they continue to use it, they'll realize, yeah, this really is better for me, and then it'll stick.
Yeah, just
Right?
for 2 months, and you'll be glad that we required that you do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into how you can encourage your advertisers to adopt the client center. And we've tried to make this as easy as humanly possible. We've got a couple of templates, one specific email template that you can use to invite your advertisers to the client portal, and then a short video tutorial that will give them a little overview on how to log in and how to use the client portal as well. We'll give you access to the template as well as a link to the video so you can kind of build your own email templates if you prefer to do that, or however you want to go about doing this. But the point is, there are a couple things that you need to do before you send out these emails to your advertisers to get them on board. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so I'm already logged into my system, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up an email template so that your team or you can send out invites to your clients to get them to start using the client center. So on the left-hand side at the very bottom, I have my settings. I'm going to go to templates and mail merge templates. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to create a brand new email template by clicking this button up at the top right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the text that I sent you and you're going to click this source code button right here. You're going to delete everything and copy and paste in the source code that I sent you. That has to do specifically with the HTML formatting I'm about to show. So copy that in, and what you're going to get is an email that looks kind of like this. Hi, first name. That's right. You're invited to the blank client center. This is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to change some of the labels here, right? Publication in all caps, so you know to change that for your brand and your team. Here are a couple of things that you might want to encourage people to do. Of course, remove the ones that you don't want your clients to know about right away. Scrolling down, here's a short video. This links directly to a YouTube video that they can watch to show them how to log into the client portal and what to do once they're logged in. It also shows a little bit about how an admin from the client's page can edit the permissions within their team. And then at the very bottom, if they're ready to get going, they can click this link to sign in. Now, one thing that you are going to have to do when you send this out or before you send it out, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to edit this link. So highlight the button, click edit link, and you're going to place in here the URL for your client center. All right. This is going to be the first time logging in. So go to your client center, click first time logging in, and then copy the URL into this link right here. Okay, that way they go to your client center and not my fake test sites client center, which would just totally confuse them. Okay, once that's all done, hit save. Your team can start sending out these invites once they go to a client's page. Up at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of my clients, budget blinds, go to the page. I'll click into Peter, who's my primary contact. And at the very bottom, before you send out an email, which you can do by just clicking on this link right here, I'll show you that in a second. But if I scroll down a little bit, at the very bottom on the left, there's client center information. So you're going to want to make sure that Peter has access to log into his client center and can see the relevant information that you want him to see. So on the right-hand side, I have an edit permissions button. Now, if Peter's the admin, he can change his team's permission inside the client center, but you can also control this from the back end. There are lots of permissions here. So I guess question for Shalyn is, when you were doing this, was there a certain process that you followed to encourage the team to restrict or enable different permissions based on who they were talking to?
Sure. So we knew at some companies we would have a separate art contact or billing contact that maybe wasn't also the main contact. So generally speaking, the main contact had access to everything. They were the ones signing the contract. They could pay the bills and maybe they could submit the art. But sometimes we knew that the art person maybe shouldn't be seeing the invoices or maybe the primary person didn't want them seeing them or paying the bill. So we could restrict the billing. They couldn't sign orders. I mean, there was a multiple things, but we sort of used our best judgment. Sometimes we were wrong, and maybe the person submitting the art was also paying the bill. But generally speaking, those were types of rules that we followed. We used, you know, common sense.
So kind of give the admin access to pretty much everything,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then allow them to decide, or if you know, then apply the permissions as needed. So that
Yep.
makes sense. Good. Okay, cool. So once you're ready, hit save, and then go back to the details page for that client. And when you go to send the email, click the link, choose your template, which mine is this publication client center invite. And here you can see the email showing up, right? Here's the video, here's the sign in button. And then of course, when I push send, I'm gonna pull my Outlook over as well, just so you can see what this might look like. Here's the invite. Hi, Peter, that's right, you're invited. Same invite that you guys already saw. But if they click the link for the video, it's gonna bring them to a YouTube page. It'll start them through the process of watching the video, and that way you guys don't have to worry so much about explaining it to them. Now, it's a good thing to know how the client center works, because what happens when an advertiser calls you as a rep? It's like, hey, how do I do this? Did that ever happen with you, Shalyn?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not a bad idea to refresh, your knowledge of the client center or how it works to start with. Having all the departments that are going to be accessing the information from there, look into it is definitely a good idea. And having a video like the one Nick is providing is super helpful for the clients logging in. And there's a lot of things in the help center to walk you through the company side of the client center.
Perfect. Right, so this is the page that the clients will end up on if they click sign in, and they'll just pop their email address in and they should be off to the races. So hopefully that video gave you a high level overview of how to use the client center, how to encourage your clients to adopt it, and how to get your team to start inviting those clients to use the client center, which is ultimately going to save you time, save your team time, and save your clients time. Shalyn, thanks so much for joining me today as a guest.
Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you next week. So that's how you get some more adoption from your clients to use the client center. Easier ways for you to invite people, easier ways for your team to understand what the client center does. Hopefully, I mean, the whole goal of this is to provide that kind of self-serve portal that's ultimately going to save you and your team a bunch of time on admin, back and forth questions, using different systems for proofing or ad submissions, keeping everything inside the same ecosystem without worrying about loose ends on either end of the spectrum. So, Shalyn, thanks so much for coming on. Really great insights today into the client center. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Cool. All right, so that was a little bit awkward at the end. I didn't let you say thanks. Do you want to redo it?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think like where a good place to be, like to cut off there at the end would be, but most likely I say like, so hopefully that gives you a high level overview of adoption, how to get your team to use it more. Shalyn, thanks so much for joining us as a guest. And then you can say thanks, and I'll say, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. So thanks for, well, that was dumb.